Nothing.
Angelo, I got to give you a lot of credit, man. I believe you and me have a sandbox of a very few friends that are in the business because, you have to say some critical things at times and people get bent. Last week, you came on my program and you said something about Howard Eskin. And now all of a sudden, everybody, the Philadelphia Inquirer, Crossing Broad, all that, everybody now is reporting what you said, that there was an issue over there. I mean, do you think Howard's legacy has been hurt a lot? Because, again, here's how I saw him, Here's how I saw Howard Eskin, Angelo. You obviously at the top of the pinnacle there. You and him kind of built that station. And there was another gentleman, I believe, in the middays or mid-mornings that you guys had on your station who passed away, I believe, in the 2000s. And he was in that mix there. Tony Bruno was in there, but it was really you and Howard. And I always looked at them as the guys who kind of like, I looked at you two guys, and that's how I wanted to do it. And I thought he was one of the godfathers of really building sports talk radio. And now I see some of the things that have gone on in his career. And look, I mean, I've got dents in the fender too. I get it. I understand you're on long enough, right? You're going to have dents in the fender, Angelo. I mean, how do you look at his legacy now after all these years? Steve Fredericks, that's right.
Steve Fredericks was a tremendous talk show host as well. Howard was a great talk show host for a long time. He stayed too long, right? I mean, that's clear. That was clear when he didn't have his drive time job, 12, 15 years ago. He loved the job. Even after he had to resign last week, he showed up at the game. He tried to get in. He's trying to go to the note. He loves it. It's his life. So part of me feels sad about him.
Yeah,
the story was not correct. You understand? He did not get fired. He did not get forced to resign because of shouting at a woman executive from the Odyssey. He got fired because he made physical contact with her 3 times. He grabbed her arms. She asked him after the first time he grabbed her not to do that anymore. And in his moment, he was just upset because he was under instructions to get Brandon Graham out of Chickies and Pete's, and he grabbed her, and she said, "Don't touch me." And he grabbed her again, but he was just in the moment, and that's what ended it for him. It wasn't that he shouted at her. Shouting would not get him fired. So that's the real story. It's everywhere. The fact that it hasn't been in the media is it's everywhere. There were dozens of witnesses to this. Dozens, Dan. And no one reported the real story yet. That story that ran yesterday, it took him 11 days to get half the story. It wasn't that hard to get. I got it, and I'm retired.
No, I this is what I posted, Angelo. I said Angelo wouldn't go into detail, but there was another incident. That's how I put it, that there was out there because that's how you presented it. And I said, and get this, you said that on the 23rd on my show. Yesterday that came out, and I was like, holy cow, why are they so late to this? And now that you're telling me this reminds me of the Marcus Hayes story in some way, that they're giving you these crazy fluff stories, like they're not giving you the truth and how they're covering these things. That is an A1 story that Howard Eskin had a physical confrontation with somebody, and that was the reason that he was in. It's not a shouting match.
It was not sexual. It was not threatening.
No.
He was just trying. He had gotten word from Jeff Lurie, the owner, to get Graham out of there because Graham had said that there was some issues. He acknowledged that there were a little bit of a problem between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. And get him out. He said too much already. Get him out of the building. And Howard was just trying to follow the instructions of the owner of the Eagles, Jeff Lurie. And that's how the whole thing evolved.
Wait a minute, Angelo. Wait a minute. So this whole thing then goes back to when Brandon Graham had to walk back those comments about Jalen Hurts and all those things that were said. And then he had to come out and apologize and have that conversation with Jalen. And so this was Bob Lang and Jeffrey Lurie cleanup. and get him out of that location that they were at. And Howard thought he was doing him a favor.
Brandon lives right near Hertz. They're pretty close. He knew what was going on between Hertz and Brown, right? He went on the air and he did what he's done his 16 years of career. He told the truth. God forbid that should happen in the Eagles organization. Lurie heard it and either directly or indirectly got the word to Howard, please get Brandon out of the building entirely. As if we got to talk to him. He can't be saying this stuff. It's bad for the team.
What was the name of the place again, Angelo?
Cookies and Pete's in South Philadelphia.
Hey,
it happened in front of many people. Many people. They were there to see it. They know what happened. They know that he was frazzled. He said, Brandon's got to leave now. He can't leave. He's got to sign autographs. He's still got to do part of his deal of going to Chickies and Pete's to do a show on Monday nights. He can't leave now. No, you don't understand. He's got to leave. This is above our pay grade. We got to get him out of here. Well, no, he's not going. And then Howard didn't know what to do at that point, and he grabbed her by the arm, not to hurt her, not in a menacing way, just in a frustrating, like, and then she said, don't touch me, and then he touched her again. And that's what set the whole thing into motion. And that's why ultimately it took 11 days. They came to an agreement that he would resign. That's what actually happened. And I was not the witness that day, but I've heard this 5 times from people so far in 11 days, and the Inquirer still can't get the story. That's the real story.
What I don't understand is, okay, there's 2 parts to this then. This really was Brandon Graham speaking his mind about Hertz. Honestly. And the relationship and being honest that him and AJ have an issue. And then the owner came scooping in saying, get him out of this restaurant here because he's talking too much. And Howard was trying to get him out of there. And all of a sudden now, Howard's the bad guy in this, not trying to do anything crazy, but he was frazzled, like you said. And all of a sudden now, he's been used as the scapegoat in this whole story with Brandon Graham and Jalen Hurts and that A.J. Brown. Boy, I'll tell you, like you said, Angelo, this ownership, man, there's nothing that's too little and petty that they don't go in on.
So Howard was doing their bidding, all right? He was trying to help them because they were telling him, get him out of there. And then 2 weeks later, they wouldn't even let Howard into the game, the same team that he was trying to help. So yeah, there's a way to look at this like Howard's a victim. I mean, give me a break. Whose side are you on here? One day you're on Howard's side, the next day you're on the other side. I don't know. Howard was just trying to stop the issue from becoming bigger because Brandon Graham was speaking too much. And he was under instructions to get him out of there. And I guess that the woman felt he was overzealous, and she complained about it, and that was the end of the line for Howard. But the honesty issue is the real issue. Graham was telling his truth on his radio show, and the Eagles went, he's being honest? Get him out of there. Wow. What is he doing? He's being, we do not tell our fans the truth.
Wow.
That's the fact. That's
how
the real
in the world story. Then don't you come to the conclusion this week on how this Barkley story was handled by the owner? If he's that freaking petty over what Graham is saying at some restaurant on a 30-minute radio show, he's totally going to be ass deep in this here. And really, I'll tell you, Angelo, I said this. The Eagles have a winning mentality. They don't have a championship mentality.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But this Barkley thing's going to bite him in the ass. That's what I see. Because you can't whip out in Philadelphia. It doesn't work.
Angelo, man, you bring it. Holy cow. Hey, by the way, I may ask you this. Would you be talking about this on your show?
Well, I mean, be
Wait a
talking
minute.
about it.
Wait a minute. Let me apologize. Okay. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Here's the thing. I would talk about it until I was suspended because the people want to talk about it. Everywhere I've gone, Dan, and I've been moving around a little bit this week, everybody is talking about Barkley, they're talking about Howard. And if they're talking about it, I have to talk about it. That's my job. So, yeah, it could have gotten a little dicey at WIP, but those days are over.
Angelo, tell folks where they can find the audio of the book. Holy shit, you're going to have another book coming up, man. You have to, because you got to write a book on
more books.
Wait, no, you got to write a book on the Philly sports media, because you have to write on what you have covered and seen in media, because media has changed since Watergate, and it now has changed since Trump has been in the White House. I'd like to hear that book one day. Tell them where the blog is. Tell them how people can find you.
I don't know that I'm going to write the book, but I do like one-word titles, and the title would be bullshit with an exclamation point. That would be the title. But yeah, it's at AngeloCatali.com. I write every week. Just go to blogs. I write all my opinions that week of whatever happened with the Eagles and any other sports things that are going on. And the book is also available at Amazon. You can get it in audiobook too. It's called Loud. And Dan, it's always a pleasure. And congratulations, nominated for the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. I hope you get in, because you'll have to give a long speech. I had to do one this week.
Thank you so much, Angelo. And thank you for your support too. I got, a lot of people. And I found out, today's my birthday, and I found out that, this morning I had this, and they sent this to me that I've been nominated. So it's pretty cool. Angelo, thank you, my friend. My relationship with you means so much. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Happy birthday, too. Happy birthday. Dan is 39 today. Wow.
Thank you, Angelo. I appreciate him, man. Absolutely. Wow. The story, as I reported it, was true. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts don't like one another. And Brandon Graham. Xander, what's the name of this place, Pete's? Because I'm going to tweet this story when I take the time out. This is big. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have a problem. Brandon Graham was speaking the truth. The owner wanted him thrown off his radio show and escorted out of the building. Chicky and Pete's wanted him escorted out of his show and out of the restaurant because he was talking too much. Howard Eskin grabbed the woman in question and was frustrated with it because they were trying to get him out of there. And they used Howard as a scapegoat and fired him at WIP. Oh, this is too much. Hey, by the way, at the Ancilio show, Xander, I saw Bob posted something. I'm sorry, Bob, I couldn't get to it. Do me a favor. We got any supers during that time? I'll read them right now before we do the live read and take a time out here. Sills, ask Angelo what he thinks the owner's reception would be if the Eagles still played in the vet after sitting Barkley. The fan base at the Link and the vet are completely different. I will text him that. Sorry about that, Bob. I promise you. Holy cow. Rat poison. All right. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour here. Woo! Holy cow. Oh, by the way, Jason Kelsey wanted them to go for the record. We got two little tidbits. Eagles ruled Barkley, and the starting O-line is doubtful. Is there any chance they did that to leave open small chances to change their minds. I don't know what those people think. By the way, Jason Kelsey will get this. I'm going to tweet that out too. Kelsey told Angelo Cataldi, who said on our show today, Jason wanted to go for the record. Okay. What a birthday. Don't be afraid. Hey, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know what our show is with all you guys? Fearless. Fearless. So WIP and the Inquirer and the Eagles are lying and changing the narrative of us that Howard hollered at somebody and got fired. That's not the story. Big Sills here. Don't forget to go with our friends at BetUS. We have teamed up with our friends at BetUS this football season for the YouTube 150. That's right. Sign-in bonus up to $2K. Your second and third are 125%. Sign-in bonuses up to $2K. 200% in crypto if you like that. Also, make sure you log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. That's right. Live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.